What is going on, everyone, and welcome to yet another small tutorial type video. I knew this was going to be really important to make just based off how many questions I've been getting about the bracers. So for those of you that don't know, the Mechagon bracers, the Hyperthread wrist wraps, are our best in slot bracers just for the fact that they can refund Fire Blast charges. Now it is important to use them properly in the opener, and hopefully this video clarifies some of that and helps you guys use them better. So before we get into the video, let me just explain what these bracers actually do and how they interact with our combustion and lucid dreams and all that jazz. So these are our best in slot bracers, like I said, and the on-use effect is off the GCD, and they reduce the remaining cooldown of your last 3 casted spells by 5 seconds. So if you think about it, when your lucid dreams is active, your Fire Blast becomes a 4-second recharge instead of an 8-second recharge, which means that if you use these bracers with your Fire Blasts, they'll essentially refund your Fire Blast charges. So the goal here is to refund as much of your Fire Blast charges as possible. So that being said, how do these bracers actually interact with our rotation? So the rotation changes slightly, just basically defaults back to the old BM rotation. So you're going to be casting Meteor before your Combustioneer, like we did before prior to Lucid Dreams. And the reason for this is because you don't want the bracers munching anything else. So let's say, for example, you ended up casting Meteor further down the chain. You'd actually be munching one of those 3 spells from the bracers into your Meteor City. The same goes for Counterspell and other spells that you're going to use. So you basically want to try and limit the amount of spells you use to essentially Fire Blasts and Pyroblasts. And in this sequence, it's really important to note that you always want to use the bracers after a Fire Blast, Pyro, Fire Blast sequence. You never want to use it after a Pyro, Fire Blast, Pyro, because you'll end up munching your Pyro, if that makes sense. So as you see in this video here, I go through the rotation, and I put this little spell tracker on the side of the screen so you guys can kind of slow the video down if you want to see each spell in sequence in order of what I'm doing. But essentially, it just basically defaults back to the old rotation. And just keep in mind that you always want to use the bracers when you're almost running out of Fire Blast charges. So as you get used to them, you'll notice that you'll be doing your Fire Blast Pyro sequence. And as soon as you use your last Fire Blast charge, that's when you want to use the bracers. So at the end of the sequence here again, I use Fire Blast, Pyro, Fire Blast. I'm out of Fire Blasts. My last spell was a Fire Blast. I use the bracers. I instantly get my procs back. So all in all, it's not too complicated. I know a lot of people learn more from visual representations of how it's used or how it interacts and stuff like that. So hopefully this video does help some of you. My biggest recommendation is just to practice with it. It does take some practice to get used to, especially if you're using font. The whole sequence has kind of become a little bit more intricate than we're used to, but that's a good thing. And I'm personally having a lot of fun playing with, font and the bracers and all that stuff. So it is a lot of fun, and practice makes perfect, guys. Just play with it and get used to it. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it helped some of you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.
Oh, yeah.